Hi everyone, hope you must be doing well in your studies, keeping very fine in the best of your health. And let's get started with a new poem, very beautiful and very decorated poem, that is Aunt Jennifer's Tigers. So let's begin with the title. Here, as we always see that the title is very important. So before going to the title, I would like to tell you something about the poet of this poem, that is Adrienne Rich, right? So here Adrienne Rich, number one, she is a feminist. Throughout her poetry, we find one notion which is so prominent, and that is the rights for the poor, the rights for the women. She not only composed the poem, but she also wrote a lot of articles, a lot of means books on it, and everywhere one voice echoes, and that is the rights for the women. She is deeply concerned with the women's rights, and she is deeply concerned with the miserable condition of the women still in this 20th century. So here we find an explicit, very clear idea of a woman, its responsibility, and different kind of bondages, different kind of tortures and tormentation which a lady face in a family. That's why she takes the idea of Aunt Jennifer. Here the poet is not only talking about a particular Aunt Jennifer. Through the metaphor of Aunt Jennifer, the poet is talking about womanhood, all womankind. She says that a female, a girl, is tied with different kind of restrictions, different kind of responsibilities from the very beginning, from the childhood, and it gets over only after he or she dies. First, she is tied with lot of restrictions. She is inflicted with lot of bondages while she is unmarried. As soon as she gets married, again she will be heavily bounded with different kind of responsibilities, household chores, household responsibilities, restrictions, and she does not get any freedom. We talk about Aunt Jennifer. The title suggests that here she's talking about the married women and the responsibilities, the restrictions. Even in 20th century, we proclaim, we talk about justice for women, we talk about the rights of women, we talk about the freedom of women, but exactly it does not happen so. Today, women are supposed to be equal to the men, but exactly they are not. In many spheres of life, we find that the decisions are taken by the manhood, by the men of the families. So here, basically, the poet is talking about the inflictions, the problems, situations, suffering, pain, torture, and tormentation which are faced by the women in our society. So, he takes the example, takes the metaphor of Aunt Jennifer, and here she says, Aunt Jennifer's Tigers. Only two words are there. Two words and two words. Two words and two words are there. One word is Aunt, the world of Aunt Jennifer. Another world, that of the tigers She creates on a panel. She does the embroidery work. She creates the tiger, but both the worlds of these two are distinct. They are far away. There's a big chasm between them. Ant is the representation, ant is the symbol of bondage, slavery, torture, tormentation, while the tigers are the incarnation of freedom, the embodiment of freedom. So there is a contradiction between these two. Now the question rises, why does the poet invokes a scene over here? He constructs a plot over here that Aunt Jennifer creates her own tigers. Why does Aunt require to create the tigers? Some other animal could have been taken over here, but the poet takes the example of a tiger. Why? The reason is straightforward, and that is that through the freedom of the tigers, we get into the heart of Aunt Jennifer. We get into the heart of a woman, that every woman wants to be free. She wants time and space. She wants freedom. She wants right. She do not want to be tied all the time with the house or chores. She does not want all the time to be caged in the four walls of a house. They need freedom, they need time, they need space, they need freedom. That's why through the tigers the poet wants to demand the rights for the womanhood, for the womankind. It takes the example of tigers. The poetess says that as no living objects, no living tigers can be that much free that they can move around anywhere. They are unafraid, they are chivalric. But Aunt Jennifer is so terrified. When we'll go on to the poem, when we'll be reading the poem, we'll get to know all these words. So he brings out a beautiful imagery in front of us, and within 12 lines the poet sends out a deep message for the humanity that women are better than the non-living beings. At least we should not treat them like this. They should be free. They should get their due respect and honor in a family as other people of the family have. So let's get started with Aunt Jennifer Tigers, and we'll be starting with first paragraph. We'll be taking first paragraph today. So the first paragraph goes like this. See, Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen, bright toppers, denizens of a world of green. They do not fear the man beneath the tree. They pace in sleek, chivalric serenity. Stranger 1. Now, Stranger 2. It goes like this. Aunt Jennifer's fingers, fluttering through her wool, find even the ivory needle hard to pull. The massive weight of Uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. And the last stanza goes like this. When Aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie still, ringed with the ordeal she was mastered by. The tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing, proud and unafraid. This poem is notable for the beautiful rhyming scheme. Number 1, rich imagery. And within 12 lines, the poet weaves the word in such a way that in very, very short, she speaks a lot. First stanza, only 4 lines. The world of Aunt Jennifer. And it is known for Here she here she compares the world of the tigers with the the world of Aunt Jennifer with the tigers. In second stanza, again she sees that the life of ant is totally different from that of tigers which she creates. But in the last stanza, she demands the rights of the women through Aunt Jennifer. Once again, I would like to remind you here, she is not talking about particular Aunt Jennifer. She is talking about the whole womanhood, the whole womankind, and simply the poet is asking the rights of the womanhood. She wants that the women should get due rights, due respect, due honor in the family. They must get freedom. They should soar in the skies. They should have their own personal life, personal space. They should not be tied all the time with the household responsibilities, household chores, household work, and they should not carry out the orders of the other people. They should not be all the time back on the back and call of the other people of the household. This is the simple message over here. This is the simple theme which the poet construct over here. And in our coming class, we'll be going to stanza 1 and then we'll move further. So enough for today. Bye everyone. Take care of you.